Where Next Podcast, episode 3. 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, and welcome back to a kind of delayed third episode of
delayed.
Where Next Podcast.
Yeah.
We took a week off.
We did, and do you want to tell them why we took a week off?
Oh, they're never going to believe it.
That will never guess.
Zombies attacked our accommodation.
True. Very true.
Kinda true.
Yeah.
No. It was our birthday. Let's go. Happy birthday. Woohoo. And, yeah, we got older.
We are now old.
We're old men.
We're officially adults now for everywhere in the world. We've always been adults here for like 5 years, but in one or two places in the world, you are now counted as an adult.
Yes, it's very sad. I cried a little bit. I didn't cry.
I didn't quite cry. I was quite happy, actually.
Yeah, no, but it was good, and that's why we took a week off, because we still had planned to record an episode, but we would have to get it done in time. We would have had to record it the day after our birthday, and I was hungover.
I wasn't hungover. I was just ridiculously lazy because we had exams around that time as well. So it would have been like a case of we'd be filming it like before we started an exam, editing it like afterwards.
Yikes.
It just wasn't going to work. So we're like, you know what? We
Yikes.
posted on Twitter. We said, yo, going to take this week off. Going to have a little break. And
now we're back.
We're back. Yeah.
If you're seeing this, we made it on time. Ooh, it's going to be a rush.
This one might come out on a Monday when it should be a Sunday.
Nah, it'll be out on Sunday.
We'll see. But, welcome. So we're going to talk about today. We'll be back with Japan. You know how it is.
Back on our normal, absolute crazy tangents.
Just normal
Our normal
run of the mill.
bullshit.
But first, I want to ask Travis, what did you got a relatively Japan-centered set of gifts, didn't you?
Yeah, so obviously we are twins, and it was his birthday the same day.
Oh,
Crazy enough, it was
that's how
my
twins
birthday.
work. Yeah, it's mental.
And so I got you a gift. In fact, I got him a good gift.
You saying that my gift to you wasn't
It
good?
was pretty bad. He got me this jumper. I'm kidding. It's a Haikyuu jumper. Don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah, that's pretty...
Oh my god. Because it's my favorite anime.
What else did I get you?
He also got me a bonsai kit.
A bonsai tree.
And he got me a little cake that said happy birthday on it.
I did. And you got me one thing, which was very good. I did like it, and I'm going to put it in the background, see if we can see it. But Travis got me a Rem figure.
Yeah, I got him an
Rem
anime
figurine.
figure. Woohoo!
There you go. I don't know if
Wow.
it'll focus. Probably won't.
Oh my god.
This is what I could do with the second camera.
This is a special Rem figure, though. It's not just any Rem figure. It's a really good figure.
Yes, it looks really nice.
It's quite high quality. But B, it's an exclusive to Taito. It's like Taito Game Station, which is like a big arcade center in Japan that you can go to. We went there a lot when we were in Japan, and it's really fun. It has stuff like crane games, and it's an arcade basically. And
There you go.
this is a figure which is Rem wearing the Taito uniform.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And it's a colorful figure, so it's nice. And I got
really
it imported over, and it was nice. And Cullen was very happy, right?
I was. I'd never actually watched Rem before.
What, the anime?
The anime. Was it sold out online or something?
No, it's like it's ReZero.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry, of course. I've watched a few episodes, but never any really got into it. But he did. He showed me an episode of the
thing.
the percentage guy. Can't remember exactly what percentage, but no, he watched me. He watched me a thing of Sea Dog VA where he gets it in a claw, and I remember thinking, wow, he's really interested in this video for some reason.
Yeah, I intentionally made him watch that one video because I had already bought him that figure when I saw it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I can like tease him, and I know he'll be like, oh, I wish we could have that, and I'll be like, aha, well, you do.
I thought you were gonna give me the sausage.
Oh yeah, there is a part in the video where he eats a sausage. Crazy. But that was my gift, and from now on, it'll hopefully, if we remember to set it up, be in the background so you guys can. It's almost like we have a guest.
Yeah, a little Rem figure you can't even really see because of the pixelation.
Oh well. Oh.
But long term, we want to have things in the background, probably plushies, these kind of things. Maybe we'll open a PO box when we're huge and they can send them in.
Oh yeah, send us figures from Japan, please, because we're poor.
Should we just rip off another podcast and just go and buy them at a store and film it?
That would be ripping off another extremely good podcast.
Really good podcast, which I listened to the theme of while working.
Yes. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, we obviously spend a lot of our time watching Japanese YouTube, like you guys, if you're watching this.
Yeah,
so I've seen most episodes of that podcast, and I'm always like conscious not to try and copy what they've been talking about.
Is that why we're not even saying their name?
Yes. Obviously, you can all work out it's the Trash Taste podcast with Joey the Anime Man, Giguk UK, and Connor Sea Dog VA.
Yeah, the 92%.
Yeah.
Or whatever percentage
it was. Yeah. But
some percentage of females, basically.
They're really good, and along with I think Abroad in Japan has a podcast as well.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I think I've watched that. I've watched it once where he had a guest on, and they were talking about like food.
Oh, the typical Japanese.
They were talking about konbinis. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow!
Which is, I don't know anyone who talks about konbinis.
Who would do that? But it is quite funny because when I bought him the figure, we had our parents around. Obviously, we live many hours away from where our parents do, and we had to explain. Colin had to explain to them why there was now an anime girl in his room.
Yeah, I also had to explain it, to a good few other people who have seen it since. They're like, "Oh, you watch anime?" I'm like, "Oh,
In fact, I run a podcast."
They're like, "Oh yeah, I noticed it. I walked into your room and I noticed the anime figure, not the huge lights and cameras." And
Yes. Yeah, but they can't notice that either. They all notice that.
No. But no, it was awkward. Our family keeps asking for the podcast links, and when they came round, they wanted to see the whole thing.
Oh
and,
goodness!
they were wearing masks, of course.
Did they? What was their reaction to the lights? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah, they liked it. They made me do a whole photo shoot.
Really?
They turned them on, and I had to sit facing that way. And they got on my bed and they took a picture to try and make it so you could see everything. It's like, oh wow, look how famous they are. And I was like, I didn't have the guts to tell them that my last episode only got 40 views. I was like,
it wasn't amazing, but that's okay. And that's the thing I was going to talk about. Organic versus stimulated views on YouTube. It's something that over our time on YouTube we've come to understand quite well, that 1,000 views which are artificial, or as you would say in Japanese, jinko. Yeah.
Nice.
My goodness.
Japanese lessons with Travis.
Yeah, there you go. At least I think that's how you write that's the reading of the kanji for artificial.
Oh, Travis senpai.
Oh my god. But it's something we've come to understand, because there's been points where obviously I've had lots of channels. We've had lots of channels.
We have had a few channels.
And I can remember our best videos would always be ones where we promoted it really hard. We told people about it. Tried to force
we'd
people to
put
watch
all
it.
the tags as exactly the same as all the other ones.
Yeah.
And you get views, but you get no interactions.
Yeah. And you'd be like, oh my god, I got 5,000 views and then 2 comments, and it's okay.
Ah, great.
Whereas what we've tried to do with the podcast is just leave it entirely to organic growth, where we don't want to promote our videos, we don't want to overly force people to come watch them. But I mean,
we'll post on the Twitter.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll be to my friends, be like, yo, have you seen the podcast episode?
It's crazy that I don't know how they knew or what happened, but my spam emails for the last few weeks have all been these sites that make you famous. They're oh man, give us this money and we'll promote your video to, what's that? You want people who watch podcasts?
We'll make it #1 podcast.
And it's dude, just delete.
Yeah, you're okay, what can you give me? And they're like, for only the small sum of 200 grand, we'll give you 2 million views. I'm like, mate, even if I got 1 million views on every video for the next 4 years, I probably wouldn't make that much money.
It's crazy because one of them was YouTube themselves. I think maybe they do it when you upload first time, right?
I think they send you a Google Ads.
Oh yeah, they were like, oh yeah, spend £5 and we'll give you £40. And I was like, oh, well,
They try and
that's kind of
entice you
cool, I
into
guess.
it.
But I looked at that, so I did a little experiment. I ran the numbers. I wanted to see.
Oh, he went science mode. He went
I wanted to
sicko
see-
mode on it.
No, not really, but I wanted to see, how much money they see is worth how many views.
Mm.
So to get, like, if you put in $1 million,
Okay.
you were guaranteed to get between 120 million to 6 billion views.
Goodness.
And I was thinking to myself, like, what if two people put in $1 million, right? They're both companies. And they're like, oh, I want this video to do so well.
And one got
One got 6 billion, the other one got 120 mil. Is that suitable range? Like, what?
Yeah, like, can I? Something's fishy going on.
Paying an entire dollar per view, dude.
Makes you question, why does every YouTube official video get a lot of views?
Because lots of people subscribe to YouTube officials because it's the first channel that's ever
Or
promoted.
is it that they control the algorithm?
Could be.
Could
You
be.
just wonder why. You're like, that's kind of strange. Why is this kid baking cookies recommended to me? It's weird.
I get the weirdest stuff recommended to me. The other day, I got a recommended video from some news article journal thing, and they were like, it was from 5 years ago, talking about like, this kid like fell over and his dad protected him. I'm like,
Yeah, I get loads.
I don't
The
care.
one I get all the time is like the South
China
Post.
Post, yeah.
And I like I like the
Oh,
videos.
yeah, some of
It's
them are
like
pretty good.
this little child, all he wanted was a cuddle from the soldier.
And then the soldier's like,
soldier didn't give him a cuddle, but gave him a salute. And
and that
look at
kid
his
went on.
face.
That kid went on to be Superman.
it's like the kid beckoned him, and the soldier's like there. Just like they've slowed it down to make you think that it lasts like 5 minutes. Really,
actually
it
like
happened
2
all in like
second
1
interaction.
second, and he's like, you can see the pain in his eyes, the vanquish of demons.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah.
you're like, no, all it is a kid like hugging a soldier's leg and him to saluting him for some weird reason.
You do get the weirdest videos on YouTube. That's the thing. It's such a. I can't remember the exact figure, but there's like so much content uploaded to YouTube every second.
Yeah, I do.
It's something
seem to
like
remember you
something
saying.
like every day, like 2 million hours of footage is uploaded or something.
How's that even possible? There's not even that many hours in the fucking day.
Well, obviously, so it's like how can you expect your video to be noticeable among 2 million hours a day?
Even if each video only gets a single view, you're talking hundreds of millions of hours.
That's the thing. If you think about it, I used to think when I was starting off doing YouTube when I was a kid. I mean, I must have been like 10.
We started YouTube young.
I don't even know what year YouTube came out, but whatever year it came out, we were doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, oh my god, 1 million subscribers must be such an elite club. You know, there must be like 10 or 20 a million subscribers. There's something like 40,000 or something.
I think there was a few. I don't know how many it is. But
Maybe
there
40.
must be a
I
lot.
think 40,000 might be an overshot.
We're not doing another thing where we try and guess statistics. Right? Last time that happened, it went badly and it got edited out.
Yes, I edited it out. Cullen, what you guys didn't say was Cullen had a wild guess at how many episodes we would have to release to get 1,000 videos, and obviously it would be 1,000. But he tried to guess how long that would be in years, and he was a long way off. I think your estimate was, he said at minimum 64 years,
It was more like
and it was like 19 or something.
Yeah.
But, you know.
My brain wasn't really on.
You
And
ever-
neither has it ever been.
Nah, I was about to say, I don't know how much thinking you've been doing recently.
Yeah, but YouTube, it is interesting how I think recently Japanese YouTube has kind of taken a bit of a up. It's on a high at the moment because like I remember like certain YouTubers who have been in Japan, they've always existed, but they've always just kind of been like a club where it's like you know them
through that big YouTube.
you watch this group of people and they're like they all take from the same viewer base.
Yeah.
And then recently it's been like that's almost become like a really mainstream
Yeah,
group.
it's become really big. I mean, I remember I actually posted this on my Twitter. I remember when I was starting to do Japanese-based content. Just leave your lid off.
It gets warm if I do that.
When I was starting to make Japanese content, I remember I used to think that I really wanted to be a part of the like Tokyo Creative
Group.
Group.
Creative group.
And I remember thinking that, that'd be amazing. We were living in Japan at the time, so I was like, we could join them and
Oh yeah,
so
they saw us and they're like, you hasn't even uploaded video yet. Get it out.
They would just take anybody. That's what I was under the impression. I was like, anyone who's in Japan can speak English or like some sort of viewer-based language.
Yeah.
And is willing to make videos could be an asset. And I was like, hold up, who have they got on their network? Oh yeah, they got Jake and Bake Live. They've got
big.
Abroad in Japan.
He's pretty big.
Joey the Anime Man.
He's sizable.
They've got like what's Joey the Anime Man's wife or fiance called? They got a lot of big people.
Spot there. Yeah, they got lots of people.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not like them. All of those people have at least like 2 million subscribers. Years of content on their belts.
Jake and Bake at one point was like mega popular
before he decided to leave Japan for some reason.
He would usually travel, so he spent a lot of time in China, a lot of time in America, a lot of time in Japan. But Corona happened, and he's been stuck in California.
No, I think he'd already made the decision to move back permanently.
Oh,
it's like a gaming channel now. It's quite interesting.
I watched him play League of Legends. I don't even play League of Legends sometimes.
I've never played League of Legends. I think I played it once.
I've played it once. I've played it quite a few times, actually.
It sucked.
One of my friends played it. I had no idea
what was going on.
There's so many heroes and so many abilities.
Yeah, and people say like,
go down mid. I'm like, well, I know where that one is. And they're like, you're a jungler now. I'm like,
mid lane jungle.
I'm like, oh, and they're like, which hero are you playing? I'm like, is it heroes in this or champions? I'm the guy with the sword. He goes,
maybe you could be Toku Creatives League player.
Yeah, let's get the guy who's like played like 10 hours max of League, and they're spread across 10 years.
Yeah, an hour per year,
half an hour maybe.
Spread then across like 10-second play sessions.
Yeah, who also doesn't. Can they remember like 3 characters' names out of the 100? Anyway, yeah.
Well, better than me. I can't remember any.
Japan.
Yes. And I remember, and I was thinking that, I'd really like to join a group like that and have like that kind of connection, because I'm under the impression that most big YouTubers, foreign YouTubers in Japan, know each other and they collaborate all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you have agencies like Bookwalker and stuff that bring people together. I know that's the agency that Trash Taste is on, Bookwalker.
Yeah, I think that's like very specifically gigs and VAs.
Yeah.
It's cool. Gonna call him VA from now.
What, Connor? Sea-Dog VA.
Let's call him VA. It's easier.
Just the voice actor.
That's what he is to me.
Fair enough. And
the Welsh.
God damn it.
Goddamn.
We're acting like we know him. We're on a first name basis. No, we're not on a first name basis. We're on a last digit basis.
We're on a country basis.
We're going to call Gig UK just UK and Sea-Dog VA just VA.
His name isn't even Gig UK.
Really?
It's a Giguk.
Oh, yeah, so it is. It's just Gig. I was doing Gig UK.
No, it's not. It's just the whole name. And he made a gag about how, like, why do people think I put UK in the name?
Is it not Giguk Arizona?
True.
But, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we've always wanted to be a part of that crowd. But it just proves how much extremely hard work it is to really make an impact on YouTube. That's where I was going with the, like, so much content uploaded, agencies of huge people.
It's almost like they're friends as well. You kind of have to know them.
It's almost like they have good social skills.
And it's also like if they met us, we would just be like any other fan who has like 2 viewers.
2 subscribers. We got more than 2 viewers. And we got more than 2 subscribers.
But you know what we could have? More subscribers. If you press that subscribe button and the little bell
and leave a comment,
you'll be alerted, even though we only upload on Sundays.
Yeah, on Sunday 5 o'clock you can be heading down to the ranch.
You could be walking outside and you're thinking, I really want a taco, because I know a lot of our viewers are from America. And it's quite early for them at taco eating time.
Yes. Yeah.
Like 9 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And
when when I got up this morning, I had a taco.
Did you eat one of my tacos?
No.
One of your tacos?
Yes. That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it?
So, you've woken up, you're thinking it's taco time, and then you get that little bzz, bzz on your phone. You look at it, it's YouTube. Wait a second. It's not just YouTube.
It's the WhereNext podcast.
The WhereNext podcast. Suddenly, your taco is made of solid gold.
Wow.
You're so cool that all of the people you're attracted to love you.
Oh, they're all attracted to you.
All of them.
That's just the case.
And suddenly you find that also you can fly.
That's a new one. That's new.
I think that could happen if you press subscribe and a little bell.
That isn't a guarantee, by the way. It's an estimate.
Legal,
which means you can't
for legal
us.
Purposes, that may not happen.
That's our hypothesis about what happens if you
go prove us right or wrong.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
if it
more
happens.
Interactions.
Yes, because I actually heard that comments fuel how well you do on the algorithm a lot better than your content.
So if I just got
subscribers.
100 channels and posted 100 comments,
yeah, it would really help. Check how many comments this video has.
Cullen 0001, Cullen 0002,
all the way to Cullen 1. Cullen. Like, oh my god, man, he posted 1,500 comments. 2 viewers, 1,500 comments. This doesn't seem right.
It's like, that's a bit weird.
This don't seem right. Yeah, because we've had friends. We've actually met in real life people who have got a lot of subscribers on YouTube. We actually went to school with someone who had a lot. We had a few friends that had channels. And it's always funny that they just made it look so easy. They were like, haha, yes. I was like, oh, how did you get so many subscribers? They were like, just post on YouTube.
So here's what you do.
Just upload.
You type in YouTube and then you press upload.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're actually so rich that you can no longer breathe normal air. You need that like O'Hare air.
Oh. Let it grow. Them about their YouTube channel. Just let it grow.
That's what my girlfriend said to me last night. Hey!
God damn, man. He's flexing on the weebs that he has a girlfriend.
What's up, weebs?
Whenever I say weebs on this channel, I always say weebs.
You just said it normal a second ago.
Whenever I say weebs on this channel, I always say weebs. It's funny because I actually met someone on a social media service meant for dating. It begins with a T, ends with an E, actually ends with an R. And
you're a fucking idiot.
And they came up to me and they didn't come up to me at all. They messaged me and they were like,
they approached you.
I'm an otaku. I was like, oh, nice. Like, what's up, bro? And they were like, did you just call me bro? And then they unmatched me. So
they're the one who said that they're an otaku.
Yeah.
And then they get weirded out when you say
bro.
It's
every day, bro. That's every day for me. And
otaku flow.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's on our coming back to our birthday.
Holy shit! How did you get that?
Coming back to our birthday, it was quite interesting because a lot of our family wanted to talk to us. A lot of our friends that came around wanted to talk to us about what we've been up to. And obviously, because we're at university, we've been doing lots of exams and doing lots of work and more work.
Midday drinking.
And then they were like, oh yeah, but you've got a podcast, right? And I was like, I didn't tell you that. Like, there's no way.
Everyone just knows,
that.
Yeah.
But no one watches. They all know they don't watch.
I don't like my parents keep asking me. They're like, ring ring. Hello. How you doing? They're like, can you show me your fucking podcast?
For reference, our family is Scottish.
Can you show the podcast? I swear, I love it. I'm like, oh, of course. Send you the link anytime. I never send them anything. No. And I never intend to. If they somehow are watching this, that's a shocker.
Imagine there's someone out there that watches our podcast with their parents, and their parents are now like, they're very rude to their parents.
No,
I'm so glad my son's not like that.
I'm lovely to my parents. I don't mean I don't call them enough.
Yeah, no, me neither.
They're back there at the home.
I don't call anybody.
I don't call people that
Don't
often.
call them on my cell phone. Oh, we just got copyright claimed.
That's it. We weren't making money anyway, but now we're in debt.
Yeah, I was looking at what it takes to be monetized. When we started doing YouTube, you could get monetized from the get-go. Like, you didn't need, and there was no requirements to monetize your videos.
From the get-go.
There was no need to monetize. There was a need to monetize your videos, and you could do it. But these days, I remember, I remember the year that it changed. I think it was like, I was still in school when this law
It was when PewDiePie did that stuff, isn't he?
And they changed it that you had to have 1,000 subscribers to.
I saw the 1,000 subscribers. I was like, that makes sense. Well, I didn't realize you need like 12.
Yeah, well, then they added on you need 4,000 watch hours in a year.
That's so many watch hours.
So like, for instance, we've had 2 videos now. Each one of them's over an hour. So if one person watches it, it's an hour of watch time. So let's say we had an average. One's got 100 views. One's got 50. We have another video that's half an hour that's got 1,200, and then one's got 500. Right. So the average in hours is around 100 or so viewers. And yet somehow we're only less than 2 hours through our quota.
I think it's a case of like lots of people with longer videos. They get like 10 minutes in and then they stop watching. And then they start watching again. They watch another like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that means you don't actually get an hour. You get 10 minutes. And then it averages that to like 3 minutes. And so then you're adding all that up and you're watching. So you have like 20 views, but it's actually like 4 people watching it 100 times. And suddenly, next thing you know, you have 10 minutes and 55 seconds watch time.
And they brought in each one of those things to stop certain things that YouTube was getting really bad at doing. So one, you'd have a channel that had no subscribers, but they would just like churn out millions of view videos and get, like their content clearly wasn't worth subscribing for, but it would clickbait people into seeing it.
GoPro footage, man nearly survives.
Yeah, he almost gets eaten by a bear, but a picture of a bear on the thing, like, wow. And people would click on it.
Oh my god!
And the content would be really bad, but they'd still have got the analytics of the views, and therefore they still could potentially get ad revenue. So the 1,000 subscribers supposed to make it that at least 1,000 people have to think your content's worth watching.
I remember when I was young, back when YouTube was newer.
In diapers. It was a baby.
It was definitely newer. I remember thinking you had to pay to subscribe to people.
What,
Despite
really?
the fact that they said they're like, subscribing is free. I was still thinking like subscribing is like something where it's forbidden. So I would watch YouTube channels all the time. Like I'd watch every video and I would never be subscribed because I just forever thought that subscribing was like Smosh especially is the one I remember. I remember going like, so what happens if I do subscribe? And I subscribed and it was like nothing happened. It just said I was subscribed and I was like,
did I just pay for that?
You can subscribe to people. The other one I subscribed to really late was like PewDiePie. I'd watched him for years and then I realized like a few years ago I was like, I've never actually subscribed to it.
That's so funny. It is weird because, and I think we're all guilty of this in a way, the amount of times that I'll like a video from a content creator that I like is quite low. I really try and save my liked videos for music or something so I can find it easily. And then I'm like, no one liked my YouTube video. Oh, that's so bad, And then it's like me not liking anyone's stuff.
I watch videos, I'm like, that was a fucking great video, and I will not like it.
Yeah.
I'll only like things I want to go and watch back. Like, I don't know, music, I guess, really. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they took away that your liked videos became a playlist, I'd like so much more stuff. I'd just be like, yep, just throw a like on like it's Facebook.
Yeah, I don't use Facebook.
Well, you know what I mean. It's just, well, exactly. Just throw it out there.
No one uses Facebook anymore, mate.
That's true.
You're
true.
old.
I'm not old. Oh, I am old. It was my birthday. That's why
I'm actually
old.
older than you anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Coming back to Japan.
I've also had many people on this podcast comment and say that I look like Hitler.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, wow, you're a little beard here.
Beard on your lip.
The lights just mean that you can't for some reason see. I do have hair here.
Yeah, no, he does. It's pretty thick.
If I turn, there you go.
Nah.
But for some reason, when you do this, it just disappears.
Nah, man, don't talk to me, Austrian man. Come on, bro.
Are we gonna get cancelled just for this one little reference?
But in Japan, making YouTube videos was really fun because we could just go to a city.
Everything was content.
Everything was content, and it'd be like, oh my god, guys, content city. Literally, like Tokyo, more like content. Hiroshima, content.
That's
Osaka, content.
More content.
And then here, it's like, there's a leaf outside my window.
This was actually exciting for me today. We had like a little flood. There's a window here, right? It rained so hard, the rain bounced. It bounced off the cover and back into my room.
Oh my god.
And it got all on my box. So I had to wipe it off, and
That's terrible, man.
yeah, no,
Wow.
my fan got all wet.
Wow. Oh.
So that's exciting here.
We're gonna make some content on that.
Yeah, next
We
time
actually
I'm
just
gonna-
did.
next time I'm gonna film it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. To be fair, that's the kind of thing that could do well on YouTube. Rain falls on box. Somehow we'll get 20
Like an
million
ASMR,
views.
like a microphone zoomed all the way in.
Yeah.
Like
It would be kind of crazy.
I have a microphone I could do that with.
Oh my
It's in
god.
that. It's in that drawer.
Oh my god. There's a drawer down there, by the way. And
I'm sure they believed me.
but the point I was going to make was I was thinking that alongside the podcast, we could look into doing other style of videos, stuff like reviews on locations and stuff, if that was something that people would be interested in.
Yeah.
That's purely because I was looking at analytics, and our video about a trip in Nico, the more YouTubey one for some reason, did
Yeah.
way better, even though it was way worse a video.
I think it's because then people can be like, I'm looking up a location and
Yeah.
it can come up.
It'll come up.
While with this, it's like, I'm looking up this exact podcast with this exact, it has to be pink.
No,
And Japan, but not just
not just
about
Japan.
tourism Japan.
We need trains in Japan.
and also just like stories from people I don't know Japan.
or care about. So like we're famous. That's the thing about, for instance, the Trash Taste podcast we're mentioning. Everyone on that was famous when they started it.
Oh yeah, they made it because they already had that viewer base they built. Well, us, we were like, we'll start with the podcast.
We did the typical white guy start a podcast.
You get to a certain age, and if you're white, you go down one of three routes. You start a podcast.
Yeah.
You like religiously support something such as football, or you're the racist. Okay, you're one of them.
We started a podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
And it's been weird.
It was the only reasonable choice.
Yeah, football sucks. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's because everyone has their own kind of passions and
Everyone
stuff.
believes that people care about their opinion.
That is true. I mean, it's quite rich coming from us.
Oh
You know,
no, we're one of them. Definitely
talking
one of
to a
them.
microphone about our opinions on people having opinions.
Yeah,
It's pretty meta.
it's definitely a bit weird.
But I mean, I don't think people can't mind it, right? Because people love podcasts. I mean, I've met guys and girls here who they just go on about how much they love podcasts. I'm like,
I do hear about people watching. I don't watch that many podcasts. The only real podcasts I watch is Trash Taste.
I believe that most of them are listen.
I don't really listen to that many podcasts. The only podcast I listen to is Trash Taste.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I see.
But like, I sometimes listen to Chris Broad's one because I see it comes up on my Spotify all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but
we should
not
really
often.
think about putting our podcast elsewhere. Like,
I think you have to pay to put things on Spotify.
Oh, really?
I don't really have that kind of money.
They kind of cash.
Don't have that kind of cash.
I think there is other dedicated podcast websites.
I see those ones that talk about putting you to sleep all the time. Like,
Oh,
welcome to the Misty Cabin.
Hey, anyone want to sponsor this podcast? Hey, come on.
Hey
now.
guys, this podcast is sponsored by the Misty Cabin. Thanks for joining us today in this bookshelf book library.
Book thing. Sleep now.
Fuck off.
Thing
go
is, though,
to
my
sleep.
question is, if they get paid for people watching their podcast, surely they don't want you to fall asleep. Like, I've never seen a podcast which is like, guys, fall the fuck asleep while listening to this.
Well, I think if you fall asleep, it just goes running.
Keeps
and
running on to the next one.
on to the next one and the next one.
And then it runs all their sponsors.
Yeah, what they do is they start with a sleeping one. They're like, go to sleep. The next one is just a literal list of just sponsorship after sponsorship after sponsorship. And then because they're like, the sponsor's like, my video, which only says about sponsors, got 100 million views. People love us. And then
Yeah.
they'll see that no one buys anything because they literally
Are
sleep
sleeping.
through it. The business
Imagine-
model will last like a solid day.
You advertise your company with the premise that people will sleep instead of buying your product.
Come buy our sofas now, half price.
No one turns
The
up.
opening day, they're really excited. They've seen that like loads of
yeah.
people have viewed it.
Their advert got viewed 2 billion
They,
times.
they hire a load of like staff. They prep them up. They're like the owners are so happy. They finally made it. They're like they're so happy. They hire the local community. They give jobs. They're like they really splash. Opening day, you know, they're rattling on the thing. Like, okay, we're ready to open it, guys.
Like 2 people come in.
2 guys. One of them is gonna rob the place,
and one of them has a dog which shits on the carpet.
Like all these young employees are like, you know, their excitement levels are going, and you're having to try and deal with all these people you've now brought in. You are losing money per millisecond, and you're looking at you look at the video, and it's gone up 100 million views in the last 5 billion.
Where is everyone?
So you're like, you know what? We must have made a mistake.
Yeah.
You like take down the advert, and you see that realistically, not a single person interacted with it.
No, terrible.
You change your market to beds. Suddenly, you're
Oh my
really
God.
popular.
People would sleep watching the podcast in the store.
Yeah.
Like you put it on the big TV show, adverts, and they're like,
I couldn't manage. I'd built up this scenario in my head of these like young business owners.
and you
I
start
couldn't
getting
give
so sad.
them a bad ending. I'm like, they sell beds and now people love it.
Yeah, that's the problem. We get so bad at. We're so stereotypically Western. There has to be a happy ending. Else, I'm gonna get depressed. I'll start thinking about these imaginary business owners, like the capitalists.
I don't know, man. I kind of felt bad for Thanos.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
I was like, man, he was just picking his fruit.
Yeah, I did feel quite bad at that point when he got his like head cut off.
Spoilers, by the way.
Oh. Who hasn't seen that film?
Me.
I haven't seen it, but I know exactly what happens. My chair is really creaky.
You've complained about that every episode.
I know, it's really creaky. And I know the viewers, the 50 of them, they all stopped watching either when the Headspace advert came on or the creaky chair.
They lived through the Headspace advert. And now
and
they
the
heard
first thing they hear is
chair.
screech.
They're fucking gone.
That's it, they're gone. Oh my God.
But what drink are you drinking today, Jonas?
Oh my God! Wow, we normally do that in the first minute. We're like 40 minutes in, and it's almost finished. It is a glass of water.
I forgot to buy milk, so for the first time, it's not tea.
Oh my goodness!
It is water with a bit of juice in there.
Wow.
And ice.
You've gone all adventurous on us today, huh?
Yes, I have.
Just fucking.
I did have something I want to talk about in Japan, and that is I wanted to talk about the way that how come the beaches in Japan are really lovely, but no one is ever on them.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, I
Because
thought of that.
in summer when it's super hot, all you want to do is you want to just into the water.
But
you know,
you can't.
Like the beaches of Hiroshima or something like that, or at that island that I had to put the name up on last time. It turned out to be like 50 syllables. And you want to go in the water, you just can't. And it's the same in Korea, actually. We went to, there's a really famous beach in Korea, Hyundai or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. It's got big skyscrapers on it. Crazy.
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, I got lovely photos of you there.
And we wanted to go swimming. 'cause it
We've
was
been
really hot.
dreaming of swimming.
We got this terrible bus out there with our friend. We were like, oh yeah, come on, we're gonna go swimming. You know, we got our swimming shorts. We'd taken our swimming shorts to, you know, we'd taken them from the UK. Like that
Live with
year.
them for like all this
We'd never
time.
used them. And we get there and we're like, yes, let's go. We change. You know, we wrap a towel around us. You know, PG-18. You know, not suitable for kids.
Mega abs showing.
Yeah,
Big
I'm talking,
biceps.
The local women literally passed out. Who knows why? But you know, we got our shorts on.
Ugliness. That's what they saw me, and they're like,
we got our shorts on, and we're running to the water. We sprint, and suddenly, huge alarm. I'm talking nuclear waste, nuclear fallouts, and I'm like, mate, what is there a shark? Like, what's happening? I'm seeing all these Korean people running out the water. I'm like, oh my God, someone's drowned.
submarine.
Tsunami. Like, oh my God, it's the Russians. And I'm starting to think to myself, this is bad. This is terrible. Something bad.
It's the Americans.
And I look at my friend, the friend we went with, can speak Korean. She just sat on the beach, like, eating a sandwich. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. You know, this huge Korean voice, alarms, you know.
People vacating the water.
Yeah.
Lifeguards.
And we're about to go in, and they're like, and then she just calls us over. She's like, yeah, they just closed the water.
Yeah.
They closed the water? What does that mean? They're like,
Basically,
yeah, you can't swim it's illegal to
swim
swim
after a certain hour.
unless there's lifeguards around.
I think it's
I'm like,
because
mate, it's like 5
now
p.m.
this is what she told me, and this might be wrong, and it might be very stereotypical, maybe even racist, but this is what she told me, and I did believe it at the time, is that it's much less common in some Asian cultures, such as Korea, to get swimming lessons.
I see.
So it's a danger because a lot of people don't know how to swim, and a lot of people go swimming with their clothes on.
Yeah, I did see that. Lots of couples were going full jeans, jumper, like we are now, glasses, everything.
I think it's because they don't want to reveal their body. And so it's much more dangerous for people to be swimming without someone who can save them. So just to stop the chance of that risk, they say you're not allowed to swim when there's no one there.
That's really interesting. I mean, it
and
doesn't
even when
surprise
you swim, you're only allowed to go out a certain distance. You can't just swim out into the sea if you want to.
me. That's crazy because in the UK, I mean, no one guarding beaches.
There's good people guarding and they'll leave and they'll be like, well, you're on your own.
And it's not illegal to swim. You can swim. You could do whatever you wanted. I mean, they don't advise you do it, but you could swim to France if you wanted to. You'd probably get arrested when you got there, but you could swim.
Don't think so. Well, I know it now. EU, I don't know.
Visa. Ain't got the cash. I mean, maybe you just pay them off. Be like, yo, baguette. And the thing is, you could do whatever you wanted, and you could swim. I used to go night swimming. You could do it all the time.
Yeah, we'd drive our boat in the middle of the ocean, jump off.
Yeah, but it was just so crazy because I was like, literally the second my feet touched the water, I wasn't allowed to swim. I never swam.
I know. I was so upset. I mean, we kind of like stood there, kind of wading a little bit, as far as you're still allowed to, as long as you're still standing. And it was like,
yeah, it was disappointing for sure.
I just got changed with this tiny towel that we borrowed from the place we were staying. You know, huge, long out, trying to hide it from all these people who are desperately trying to have a look. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah,
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, I zoned out when you're talking about that, but oh yeah, come on, let's go.
And I put in all this effort, got changed. You know, I haven't been like half naked in front of anyone in the entire time I've been there.
You never got any girls. You never got any girls.
I was clearly being sarcastic.
You never got any girls.
I was being sarcastic.
You know, but you never got any girls.
It's all right. Good.
If you're a girl, hit him up.
Don't hit me up.
Don't hit him up.
Don't hit me up.
No, don't. Please don't.
Don't come to my house.
Don't try.
We're done. Yes, that was a Diary of a Wimpy Kid reference.
Wow, oh my god. But the point was they couldn't swim, and neither can he.
Yes, I can.
I've got a title for the video now.
Colin couldn't swim.
We can't swim? Question mark.
Banned from swimming in Korea.
We got kicked out of Korea?
This is also now the introduction. So I went and I was like, so we wanted to swim though, is a thing. Like, and then I remember saying, I was like, can we swim somewhere else? And the answer was just a very clear no. The swimming is over. And you're now thinking, just come back the next fuck off day. We left this till the last day.
We did. We were about to leave Korea. I think we weren't actually going to leave Korea permanently. We were going up to Seoul.
We're back to...
No, we're going back to... I think this was...
Oh, yeah, no, we're going to Seoul.
For some business meetings. And
you mean I was going for business meetings? You were going to stay at a PC Bang and eat food.
Yes, PC Bang. And I was just going to chill. And so we just had... That was kind of the story of our lives. For people who were in Japan and Korea for so long... Leaving stuff to the last minute was our forte. You know what I mean? Like, what's that? Like, you need to pay your rent last day,
last minute. What's that? We need to, mate. I've just realised we're gonna get back to Japan a day earlier than we thought. We don't have anywhere to live.
We're gonna live in literally. Oh my god, that happened to us like 6 times. We traveled from one place. And then we'd arrive back a day earlier than we thought. We'd have nowhere to stay, so we just would stay in the worst hostels ever.
The Yellow Fox.
Fox Den.
Fox Den.
In Seoul.
Oh, should we have said it by name? What if they find this?
Shout out to the Fox Den.
It wasn't so bad. The people there were nice.
They had a chill owner. He was Canadian, and he banged every chick that went in there.
That was the bit which wasn't so good, because you'd hear them through the wall.
You could hear the owner and all the guests, and he was just going on. He was hot, though.
He was hot looking. He was a good-looking man.
Fuck it. Hey, Fox said, you want to sponsor us?
As if they have any money. It was a very cheap place. That's why we went there.
That is true, but it wasn't too bad. And
it was better than that one that we stayed in, which you weren't even given a key. and there was loads of homeless people outside.
That was real.
And they
that
challenged
was...
us to a
That was one of the craziest places we ever went. We went to Osaka, and we were. This is when we were actually going to move into our flat, our apartment.
But what happened? We arrived a day too early,
and we had to find someone to go. So we basically looked online for the cheapest, like, hotel room, hostel, whatever.
It was a hostel, this one.
And we found one, and we were like, okay, that doesn't actually look too bad. It was fairly close to a main road. What we didn't work out was this was probably the only place in Japan we'd ever been that actually looked run down as hell. It was really bad. It was a bad corner of the city.
You knew in Japan, sometimes Pepsi is cheaper than water.
Yes.
So you knew when the vending machines here had Pepsi that was half the price of normal Pepsi.
Ooh.
You knew you'd fucked up.
Yeah, so most vending machines, the cheapest thing they'll have will be 100 yen, and that will be a bottle of water or a Pepsi.
Pepsi in this case, which is like 80 yen, and you're like, wow, that, and they're not small cans, they're like this big cans. That big cans, and they're big. And so for a time we did, and this one they had grape, cola, and like orange, for not branded, for like
50 yen.
50 yen, and that's like 30 pence or something, right?
Yeah, like 50 cents.
For like a huge can. So we, of course,
we had to try it.
We tried it.
It was bad.
It was fucking revolting.
Oh my god, I thought we were gonna die. But the point was, we then, to get to this hostel, we had to leave the main road, weave between these houses under a train line, which was way too short. We had to like duck under, and then across to this building outside of these public toilets, which the building had crumbled down, but people still used them. And there was like lines of people outside. Either they were drug addicts or they were homeless, or potentially both. And they were cooking like meat on the street in little campfires they'd made.
And what did they do? They challenged us to a
They did. They kept shouting at us and throwing stuff at us.
It was it's so weird because they were shouting and throwing stuff at us, which in the UK means fight or flight, but here it was like somehow was nice. I don't know.
Yeah, I just kind of chilled. I just kind of sat down across from them as they were like shouting weird stuff at me. I didn't understand.
They were laughing with each other.
Even if they said stuff I could understand in Japanese, I wouldn't have got it because their voice, their accents were so. Osaka's quite a extreme dialect, and it's on these people it was very hard to understand.
Yeah.
They did call me a foreigner a lot. They just shouted it. Anyway, we went into our hostel and we were like, okay, it'll be fine. This hostel will be fine. And then after this, it wasn't even nighttime yet. We walked in. The guy who was letting us in bolts this huge bolt on the door.
Yeah, it's like a fucking a storm
yeah,
door.
Like we're a tower under siege. Like we're living in
and he's like, if you want to get in from now, you have to go through this tiny door at the back.
Yeah.
This big door being bolted.
Yeah, he bolted it down. We just get to our room. We're like, oh my god.
And the room wasn't that great. I mean, it was just a room, a bed, and literally it was a bed.
There was nothing else.
You walked in the door and you had to go onto the bed, and there was no bathroom. The bathroom was like shared with like 10 other people.
There was no windows or anything, and it was. I remember I walked out to go to the bathroom, and there was a male and female bathroom, and I'm like waiting to go into the bathroom. You know, I'm stood there waiting for a shower, just wearing my boxers, and out come like 3 girls from the toilet. Like, oh, they start laughing, and then I'm like, this is like the man's toilets, man. And then I go in, I'm having my shower, and then like someone knocks on the door, and they're like, can I come in? I was like, no. Sorry, no. I'm like showering. They're like, oh, I'll just be like quick, you know, you won't see. And I'm like, yes, I don't know what's going on.
I didn't know really what was going on in those hostels. They were so weird. And like, I kind of felt the same. I luckily didn't get that because I didn't shower. I was like, no, we're going to, because we would just go, we were
really
leaving
had
that
one
place.
day, but I really wanted to shower.
No, we were leaving that place. I showered in the day we arrived because we'd been traveling. I was fucking sweaty. But I didn't shower in the morning because I was like, well, we're about to leave this place and we're going to get to our next place in like an hour. You know, and that's
we
that's
literally
full
just
apartment.
walked basically.
Now, I wish I had showered because the fucking apartment that we lived in for so long, the shower didn't even come up to my knees.
It was very small. If you've ever seen a Japanese apartment tour, even like the budget ones, ours was actually quite big in terms of rooms. It had a bedroom, a living compartment, and a kitchen.
Yeah, really weird.
Really crazy. But it was still priced like a a K. It was basically like a K1.
I think it was K1.
That was the price, but it actually had a table and like
full
it didn't
table.
have chairs.
It had a
It had
fucking
sitting-
hanging light,
Yeah, crazy.
fucking chandelier.
Don't know what was going on there.
Well, that was weird.
That was weird. Sorry about that. You might have just seen a cut halfway through talking.
So I'm going to start at a slightly earlier point. But basically, so this place it was a small building. Small building. But it was like so weird because it's like the actual size of it, diameter wise, was pretty small.
Yeah, it was very long and narrow.
But they somehow made rooms in there.
Yeah, it was interesting.
The bathroom was one of the worst bathrooms I've been in my life
It was bad.
because the building itself had AC.
One room had AC, but you could keep the doors open and
so
the
it
AC
would kind of go
kinda-
through. But the bathroom, it had a window which opened onto a hot outside area,
Yeah.
which didn't have AC. And they were like, there's a fan you can use to fan the hot air out of the bathroom. But the fucking bathroom area is not like the most pleasant smelling air this world's ever seen. So you had to choose. Either you went into this bathroom, you fucking boiled to death. And I mean that. You like fucking died. And with heat comes worse smells, you're showering,
It was
you're trying
bad. It would start getting really weird in there.
or you push air in / push air out,
Yeah.
which means that it somehow just it's slightly cooler but smells way worse.
So what we did was we had AC in our bedroom, which was actually the biggest room, but we used it for the least.
We slept in there only.
Yeah. And we then had a traditional fan in the main room, and what we did was we just like taped it to the wall so that it would kind of turn and do both rooms. And then our kitchen was by the door, so you could kind of open a window and it would be kind of fine. But it was the most unique place I've ever lived in. As someone who's lived in a few different buildings, it was
Yeah,
the
people
most
have moved
unique.
around. I liked it definitely. And like I think
It was very nice.
if I was going back, I wouldn't stay there long term. I might go there for a day or two though, if I can find the same place.
Yeah, just stay in the
Oh,
same.
yeah. I think they've made it into like a
Yeah, I think I'd heard that it's now you can rent it out for like a couple of week or a week or so.
yeah. Well, that's what it always was. I just did it for a long time.
Yeah, but I think now, because I actually looked to book it again just to see what it would be like, and I think now it's like a couple of days max. I don't know if the guy who was renting it to us just didn't like the fact that
I think he
were
was
so
away.
long.
I think it was
I think
away.
it was like a.
it was more of a house
special.
share at that time.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah, it was nice and it was really good because it's quite centralized in Osaka, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
it wasn't bad at all.
You know, it's in a terrible building, but centralized. So it was like a half of an hour, maybe 40-minute each way walk to the center of Osaka,
Yeah,
where there's just fucking millions of people there.
all the time. It was so busy. And
Crazy.
the crazy thing is that in Japan, this happens to some degree in London. I've lived in London before. I know London very well. Obviously, it's one of the most famous cities in the world, just like Tokyo would be. But in Japan, even in like not the biggest city, the metro is so connected. It's kind of crazy. I think Japan actually has the most metro lines like in the world
Wouldn't be surprised.
per city, but I don't know if it's like the best or
In the UK, there is 2 underground lines. I think it's
free.
only 2. Free?
because Scotland has one.
Oh, Edinburgh. It has like
No,
a.
it's not. It's Glasgow, I think.
Oh, really? But isn't that like really small?
I don't know. It could be small.
London has one, which is like famous one. It's
Yeah.
really very big. I'm pretty sure Manchester
Manchester.
has a relatively small one, and then yeah, it might be one in London. So you're talking 3. Maybe there's more. I don't know. I haven't actually ever been on one apart from.
Yeah, the London
London.
Underground.
But Japan, it sometimes feels like everywhere.
Yeah,
Well, it's not the case of everywhere has. Obviously, not everywhere has underground, but the
Everywhere
underground
has-
leads
Yeah.
to everywhere.
yeah. It's kind of crazy like that because for instance, in Osaka where we went, I remember we got up on the wrong station, and because there's so many stations you can get off at, it was still only like a 10-minute walk to the next one, even if because we came up and obviously it was quite hard for us sometimes to tell where we were, especially at the time if names were written purely in kanji. A good tip for travelers is most of the time to help with navigation, because a lot of school kids in Japan will travel to school or where they're going, and I'm talking
trains.
young kids 5 onwards on trains by themselves, and lots of kids at that age haven't learned kanji yet. Kanji is learnt throughout your time in education. And as a result, some names, example, like train station names,
Quite simple.
which are written in kanji, will have hiragana spellings above or below them.
They also just say it in English as well.
In most cases, they will, but that's some more
If you're more
rural,
rural, yeah. And it's like, it's a case of like, if people know the UK, I don't know how it is in America. Obviously, I haven't really been there, but in the UK, in London, you can use what's called an Oyster card. I have one over there. You get on a train, you scan in, and then once you get off another train, you scan out, and the price is just taken off your Oyster card, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really good in London because you're not buying tickets. If I was to get off on the wrong station, I'm not going to get paid for leaving that. I'm not going to have to pay for leaving that station. I can get on the train and carry on going, and I'll only pay for that journey. But once you're outside of London, it's ticket based. You buy a ticket from one place to the other. You can get off and you can get it back on, but you can't change where you're going. And if you go past where you're trying to go,
it's pretty.
You're going to get expensive. Because, for example, this where we grew up, relatively rural, trains don't even have barriers. You just step off the station into the road and you go, which means it's very much ticket based because it's kind of trust based.
Yeah, apart from at like bigger stations, like where they've, especially since there was a big run of like terrorism in the UK, so they started stepping off a bit.
Yeah. But if you want to, I get on and like a station where you don't have tickets, get on a train, and as long as they don't on that train, maybe they don't happen to reach me with a ticket, I can get off at one that doesn't, and that'd be completely free. Don't do that; it is illegal.
Yeah.
But
in Japan, you can.
In Japan, it's different because there's only few places where it's ticket based. It's almost all, apart from if you're on like a Shinkansen, something like this. Usually, you just use your one card. You scan on. You could go all the way on local lines down to the fucking other side of Japan on that card, on the money.
They're all connected because originally in Japan, each city would have its own travel network card, right? And at one point, I think it was fairly recently, at least like the last 10 or 15 years at least, they almost all of them merged. And they
unionized.
And you can still have your design card. So for instance, JR, which we talked about last episode, has their own card. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I don't see many people with that one.
I think it's the most popular. I think it is.
The Panda one is definitely the most popular.
Well, what we had was called Pasmo card, which has a little bus, a train, and like a car on it.
Does fucking everything. Not only does it do travel, not only does it do bus, not even does it do some cars. Like some taxis will have a little logo on the outside.
It does supermarkets.
It
does vending machines.
Food. It does that. So you could literally pack this card with money,
and that's what you need.
And in cities, it helps you up. So at one point we were like, I'm just going to pack this card with money. Why not just put all my money on there? And then you realize, do you want to be using this one card where if you lose this one thing, and it's not like you put in a pin, something like that. You fuck off, just scan it. If you found one on the floor, you could almost certainly just use it.
These cards, so for instance, if you're at a station, we may have talked about this already, but if you're at a station and you're hungry, you can use the card on the vending machines. It's not like in the UK. I know until recently, you had to put money into the vending machine and it would give it to you. On this one, you can use your credit card, you could use your Passmo card, and it will give you what you want. You could use it at like 7-Eleven or Family Mart, but you can also use it on things like, for instance, I once used it to pay up a transaction for wanting a room for an extra day at a hotel. Like, they'll accept it for a lot of stuff.
We would often need to leave a place. And we'd need to leave, and we'd like, man, why are we? You got to remember, when we were living and moving around in Asia, we were holding everything we owned on our bags, which it's fine. Like it wasn't like it was heavy because we got bags designed. Your bags are about the same size as us.
Yeah, they were like 65 liter bags.
But it's a case of like, you can't do much. You can't go anywhere. You can't enter a conveni with a bag the size of you. You just smash everything. Yeah. So what we'd do is it'd be like you'd be in a hotel or you'd be in a hostel somewhere, and it would come to the day you leave, and you do need to leave on that day. Usually we would have to leave on the day that we said, but we'd have to leave like at night, and we would run out of time.
Yeah.
And so we would often...
they'd want us to leave at like 9 a.m. and
We'd
our
often
train would
buy
be at
it.
like 9 p.m.
So we'd buy hours
of
in our
extra
store.
time, and it would cost us so much money.
Should have just bought another day. It'd probably be
Honestly,
cheaper to buy
yeah.
an entire day.
Extending your time on leave day is so expensive, and we had expensive habits. For instance, on the first hotel we're ever staying in, we stayed at a lovely place. It was a nice introduction to Tokyo when we arrived, and we get there, and it's very late at night. It's like, what? It's not even late at
I
night.
really recommend this, by the way. Hotel Japanning, I think.
It's the
Asia
Center Japan,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's so good.
And it was really, really good. It's in a lovely location.
The breakfast I actually crave to this day.
It's like on the Ginza line, which is really amazing. And the staff there are really lovely. And we arrive at like 2 a.m. You know, we'd taken a few wrong.
Someone just drove by on a bike in a park.
Yeah, so it's called the Asia Center Japan. It's really nice. And we arrived at like 2 to 3 a.m. and the staff was still there and we had to sign up all this stuff. And Cullen goes, we were sharing a room and it was like, is it
I phoned ahead and I'd
one
asked
big bed or
it to be 2 separate beds. Because I'm kind of picky when it comes to sleeping. I stretch a lot. I need a lot of room. So I said to them, is it 2 beds like I paid for? And they're like, no, single bed. And I was like, can we make it a double bed, please? And like, yeah. Just give us this amount of money per night. And I was so tired. I've been traveling for what, like 2 days?
I told them not to do it.
I did it.
It was expensive.
It was like $10 a day.
And we were there for like almost 2 weeks.
It was mad expensive. I did do it. That was idiotic.
And then we got to the room and it was just a normal 1 bed with a tiny little cut in the middle. It was still pressed together.
Yeah.
It was the biggest waste of
Don't
money.
ask for that. Just do the fucking double bed. The rooms are so small.
From then on,
anyway.
we never
never.
complained about
Just did
beds.
the
We just
cheapest
did
of
whatever they
everything.
had.
But the breakfast there, I'm gonna have to look up. You know,
I think it was
Japanese-
fried egg noodles most of the time.
Basically, first it came with breakfast. Fucking blessing. If you get a place to come with breakfast, eat it every fucking day.
So
Eat as
good.
much as you can.
Oh my god, just munch it.
Munchy wunchy. Anyway, we started off eating your normal, your egg, your
Yeah.
bacon. Bacon in Japan's a bit weird, but it's nice.
We were going for the like sushi and the rice. You're like, oh my god, yeah, we don't need breakfast because we'll go out and get an onigiri or something.
Stupid idea. Always eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Fucking, if you're having to get up,
We
you
sound
have
like
to eat
teachers.
breakfast.
Kids eat your breakfast.
So anyway, first few days we're doing this. Then we're like, oh, there's this bowl here with like some kind of fried or like stir fry kind of noodles in there. It didn't look like much.
Nah, it
They
didn't
were
look great.
brown, kind of crispy,
It didn't look great.
soft on the inside, crispy on the outside. Vegetable, no meat.
Yeah.
We didn't try it for a while.
Then one day we tried it.
Got a tiny little bowl. Like, you know what's here?
Yeah,
I
they
wanna
had
try
these little
everything.
pretty little bowls.
We pretty much just decided we're going to try everything because there was some Asian foods and there was other Western foods. You're like, oh, I'm paying for this. I may as well eat every fucking thing available. You got to remember, this is like, it's not like a breakfast like of a big hotel where you're all there in a continental. It's like a formal dress properly. Go to breakfast with just like the local people. You know the staff by name. It's a small place.
Yeah, it was nice.
And you have to wear certain clothing. Everything like that. So it's not like a kind of thing where you can just stuff your mouth. It's very much a particular eating.
It was similar to eating in a mix between a hostel where everyone's just kind of like sat together and also at like a meeting.
No, more like a traditional Japanese.
Oh, a bit, yeah, because it would be served to you and they'd bring it
And
to
because
you.
you wear certain stuff and you sit in certain groups.
Yeah.
Anyway, in all fairness though, it was a good way to wake yourself up. It was really nice.
Point being, this
This
stir
noodle.
fry.
Which I'm hoping I can find it out. I don't know why I haven't looked up until now.
It's crazy, man.
Because I have a rice cooker. I've got stir fry. I can make everything.
Crazy, boy.
Anyway, it looks like nothing. We
It's
try it.
Really good.
Addicted immediately.
Yeah, we were just like the whole plate.
Yeah, and it was just so fucking good. I really want to know what that is. I hopefully next week I'll say I found it. I think it's this, or I'll say I never found it.
Fingers crossed.
But
That's the crazy thing as well. It's just like you have these small things when you travel that you always remember, and you're like, oh wow, that's kind of crazy. Just one more note on the Passmo card, because I just thought about it. I thought it might be interesting for you guys to know. This will be our closing note. Is when you're choosing a travel card when you're coming to Japan, just make sure you do a little bit of research about which one will suit you best. We didn't do that before we went. It was a bit of a disaster because the popular ones, there'll be like 3 or 4 main ones that you'll probably see someone advertising for you to buy. When you arrive at Haneda Airport or whatever airport you arrive at, you can't just leave unless you have booked a bus. You'll want to get on the metro from the station, and you need a travel card or your IC card, or
IC card. That's what it is.
Yeah, to go. And so you'll want to buy it, and they cost money.
They do cost money. It's a deposit.
Yeah. Well, no, that's my point. For the JR and the Panda card, it's not a deposit. You don't get that money back. I think you pay around £20, and then it comes with like your first single ticket, like 300 yen or something. Passmo, the reason we got it is it does cost a bit more. I think the other ones cost like 13. It costs like 20, but all of it is usable.
Yeah, so you pay 20, and you use that. And if you give back in your card, you get like 5 back because it's supposed to be recyclable. It's built. It's more like you're supposed to change it up.
I think your card doesn't expire for 10 years from its last usage.
It's more like you're supposed to be built into that company forever. We obviously didn't give it back. We kept them. We'll probably use them.
Ours still got money on it.
So for us, it's important to keep them. But if you're only going to Japan for short
you
term,
can give it back in.
You can give it back in and get the money back. But it's, in my opinion, Passmo is.
I'd go with it, yeah. But we're not very good at giving advice on money. No.
It's also cute looking. Yeah, it's silver and pink in it.
Yeah, we came back to the UK with bills of Japanese money. We had like thousands of yen.
We're a kind of people where like our lifestyle, like
we're always like we'll save that money in case we need it, and then we don't use it when we need it in case we need it another time.
We were kind of like we'd been brought up where we didn't really have money to our name. We didn't spend money. So when we were living by ourselves first time, we wanted to save money and every time we could. So we were like, I want to experience everything in Japan, but I have to do it cheap. Looking back,
we didn't need to do that.
Don't do that. We came back with like hundreds in bills, which we now can't use.
Yeah, we're just gonna take with us next time we go. Oh, terrible. So don't do that. Make sure you spend your money, have a good time. You've earned your money to be spent.
Yeah.
That's our parting gift to you guys. Spend your money or spend it on us. Send us money. Send us money.
Just subscribe. Send us money. You don't even have to send money.
That helps us send money. It doesn't.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching as always. This one was a lot of rambling, but I hope it was nice. It was quite a fun one.
I remember we forgot to do the I'm your host.
Travis was the host this time.
And Callum was once again a guest.
And
our socials are here and here. I don't even think I pointed up high enough for the camera on that one.
And the Where Next socials on Twitter is here.
Ooh.
And
make sure to subscribe. Give us a little thumbs up if you like the video.
Like it.
Yeah.
We'll
see you in the next one. Like for like.
Like if you like.
Oh, okay. Anyway, this has been the Where Next podcast. See you next time.
See you later.